You, what it is, YouTube? It's your boy Nipsey coming back with another bullseye of a tutorial here today on the channel. I wanted to break down how to get that A Boogie sound. So let's get to it right now. If you guys like the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe and drop more suggestions for artists down below. Let's go.
I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne. It's hard to tell if niggas jealous if they never met us. I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne. It's hard to tell if niggas jealous if they never met us. I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne. It's hard to tell if niggas jealous if they never met us.
Okay, so that's me trying to do my best impression of A Boogie. So let's see how we were able to get that, dope rap New York type of vocal. I like a lot that auto-tune melodic vocal. So first thing I want to look at is with A Boogie's auto-tune. I think that a guy like A Boogie, his auto-tune speed is relatively, high. You can hear it, but I feel like there's a bit of high humanized going on, and it makes his auto-tune vocal sound really balanced and natural. It doesn't feel like at certain points that he's using auto-tune, and possibly that's coming down to his performance that A Boogie's doing. He's very smooth with his voice naturally, so of course his natural transitions through all his words and stuff like that is already kind of very smooth and melodic. It feels like notes on the piano. So these are the auto-tune settings that we have right here. Relatively fast retune speed, but with the high humanized.
I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne.
Yep, and just a little bit of flex tune too. I like what the flex tune does to A Boogie's voice when he goes up into a little bit of higher notes. It brings out a little bit more emotion. So yeah, that's why I like to use flex tune for it too. I'm gonna bypass the preset in and out, and we're gonna hear what it sounds like.
I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne. It's hard to tell if niggas jealous if they never met us. I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne. It's hard to tell if niggas jealous if they never met us. I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne. It's hard to tell if niggas jealous if they never met us. I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne.
I think this is really dope. The really nice, fresh, crispy sounding auto-tune vocal where now you can start to hear a little bit more of the presence, a little bit more of the detail, everything cutting through on the beat. Okay, so most important thing with somebody like A Boogie, his vocal, I feel like when he does the la, like the way his flow is going, I wanted to bring a little bit of aggressive tone to A Boogie, because he's already given us the nice little melody. So I used the CLA 3A, and we used a little bit of that limiter mode, helping out bring out a little bit of abruptness, a little bit of curve into his vocal, using this dope compressor right here. This LA3A has transformers in it, so it gives a nice little warmth, a nice little mid-range push. Important for somebody like A Boogie over a big, rap, instrumental where there's a big kick and big bass. We do want his vocal to have a little bit of size, a little bit of power. Put that shovel in the ground, put that anchor in the ground.
I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne. It's hard to tell if niggas jealous if they never met us. I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne. It's hard to tell if niggas jealous if they never met us. I think about it every single time that
So just the fact that the CLA 3A has transformers in it, I'm already understanding that. Like, I want this top end to be relatively smooth because I'm about to do a lot of boosting of the high end a little bit, at a certain point with the fresh air. So I'm already like, yeah, I'm using a compressor that got that transformer that's already kind of marinating the high end, that's kind of greasing up and oiling up that high end, putting a little bit of baby oil on it just to prepare it for a little bit of that smoothness when I do boost up the high end. After that, we have this basic REQ for A Boogie. I didn't roll off too much bottom with A Boogie. His voice isn't deep, just a nice little mid-range cut, and that mid-range cut kind of helps clear, it's kind of like serving like some Clorox bleach. It's kind of clearing up the table a little bit, kind of like a Lysol disinfectant wipe of all the just the parts of A Boogie's voice I don't necessarily want. And I did feel like this presence boost is very important for somebody like a Boogie. It just helps the vocal stand up in attention. Hello, good morning. That's what it kind of does for the vocal. Gives it a little bit more of that high mid push, a little bit more of that articulation, a little bit more of that cutthroat clarity.
I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne. It's hard to tell if niggas jealous if they never met us. I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne. It's hard to tell if niggas jealous if they never met us. I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my
So that's one of the things that with the human ear, it's gauged toward the mid range, you know, because when we was in the jungle, we was in the village, and babies was crying from a distance, like through natural, you know, adaptation, the human ear is developed to hear the mid range a little bit more than any other frequency, because that's usually what people's voice is made out of. You know, our ear is just adapted to listen to other people's voice talk and babies crying. So usually if you just push up a little bit of high mid like this, you can help your vocal cut through. But everybody's voice is different. Sometimes you got to kind of look around, but it's usually in the Ks, somewhere between 1 to 5K, depending on the person's voice. All right. After that, we have a de-esser right here, just to clamp down on those words that might have a little bit too much sharpness.
I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne. It's hard to tell if niggas jealous if they never met us. I think about it every single time that I perform, and I
So when I set my de-esser, I like to find the words that have the biggest spike. I like to go to the tippity top of the mountain. I like to climb all the way on top of the tree to see what are the words that are the highest words, you know, that like what's that one story they used to tell us when we was kid? What is it? Jack and the Beanstalk type shit. So I'm going up all the way at the beanstalk, top of the beanstalk, so I can see what words, you know, are poking up the most, and then from there I set my de-esser. After that, we have C4 pop vocal preset. Oh, actually, yeah, this is like a pop vocal preset that I actually adjusted a little bit. I think I widened up the bands and slowed down the low end the most, because I just wanted to have it clamped down. But most importantly, I love how it's just bringing a little bit more pumping and breathing. Hey, Boogie.
I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne. It's hard to tell if niggas jealous if they never met us. I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne. It's hard to tell if niggas jealous if they never met us. I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne. It's hard to tell if niggas jealous if they never met us. I think about it every single time that
What I love about that preset so much, this is actually like a variation of it that I have, is the fact that with the pop vocal preset, it really just helps the high mid flutter around a little bit, like a Tinkerbell or like a butterfly or some shit like that, or Disney Channel with the ones. It's like now you can start to see the sparkliness of the vocal in between, you know, like that wand on Disney Channel, dun, 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 type shit like that. So that's why I like to use this type of you know, C4 multiband compressor to help my vocal move around a little bit more, makes it jump off the page. But then we use the Sheps Omni channel, which I've been vibing with the Sheps Omni channel so much lately, because they're bringing that presence, they're bringing that size, and I love it because of the mic the preamp emulation or whatever, saturation. I use the even order harmonics, and you know, those are the same type of saturation characteristics you can get from something like a LA2A, which has triode tubes, right? So this, what it does is it thickens up the signal. So I'm adding some of that body back in to a Boogie's vocal using saturation, okay? And then after that, I think I did do a little bit of a situation where I started to roll off the bottom, and I started to shift the low end energy upwards type shit. So, you know, there's different ways of, you know, thinking about this, but most importantly though is I'm cutting off the bottom, right? I'm cutting off a little bit of the booty and I'm shifting it upwards, you know, kind of giving the vocal a BBL type shit, where it's like all that frequencies below like 100, all that rumble, like, you feel me? I'm not trying to just completely strip it away, but what I'm doing is I'm cutting it, and then I'm using the low shelf and I'm boosting it back at 150, which is like taking the low end but shifting it upwards type shit, you know?
I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne. It's hard to tell if niggas jealous if they never met us. I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne. It's hard to tell if niggas jealous if they never met us. I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne.
So it's like the vocal still has body, but the body is just shifted a little bit upwards forward. So that's what you could do sometimes. You roll off a little bit of bottom, and then you use like a low shelf, like on the SSLE or the Sheps Omni channel. And what the low shelf is gonna do is just gonna boost the bottom again. You feel me? But it just kind of gives a feeling that there is still some weight to the vocal, but at the same time it feels a little bit cleaner. And then we did use an 1176 emulation here, only tapping in 1 dB, fastest release, helping to make the vocal pump up a little bit more. You feel me? I want it to feel like, you know, when people are really going through shit, they start talking to you like this, they start moving their body, you know. So there's different ways of expressing emotions. And when I'm engineering, I'm trying to think about like the artist. If the artist was sitting here talking to me, like what would their body language be? Would they be sitting there flat, just telling me what's going on? Or would they be like, that's what A Boogie's kind of doing in this song. I used to rap for my brother every time it's on. Like when you hear that, that's what you think, right? So if you could put that image in your head, oh, like I imagine if he was rapping this shit, he would be moving his hands like that. I'm gonna make the vocal move around like that using the image in my head type shit. You feel me? So after that, I'll use the RVOX to give it a little bit more body. Bringing presence is a way where you have different ways. You can bring in the presence through the high mid. You can bring in the presence through the low mid. You can bring in presence through EQ, saturation, or, you know, compression or whatever. There's multiple ways of doing it, but they all have a different type of sound. So that's why when somebody says like, oh, like I want my vocals to be a little bit more forward, you got to think about what frequencies are inside of their voice. If their voice got a lot of high end already in it, then you might want to get presence through low mid, you feel me? Or vice versa type shit. Like if somebody has like a really kind of woofy vocal, maybe you might want to push up a little bit more, 2 to 3, 4K. It's different ways of approaching how to get those strong vocals that, you know, jump in front of the beat.
I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne. It's hard to tell if niggas jealous if they never met us. I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne. It's hard to tell if niggas.
So let's say I had like a really bright vocal, and you know the person said, "Oh, I wanted to have a little bit more of a cut. You know, I wanted to, you know, be like a situation like a piercing, like an earring. I want my vocal to pierce through the 2-track beat a little bit more." If their vocal was already kind of bright as hell, I'm already understanding like, damn, maybe their voice is high. I can't really keep pushing up more high end to get that clarity. Maybe what I might have to do is use an RVOX to get that, you know, presence through the lower end of the vocal, and that's what it's doing here through the compression and everything. So after that, we have Fresh Air, and I love this plugin because it's just that Febreze, Mr. Clean, Ajax, Fabuloso, Clorox type of high end, you know, just really clean and fresh, like when you mop the floor type shit, you know, type of high end, you know.
I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne. It's hard to tell if niggas jealous if they never met us. I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne. It's hard to tell if niggas jealous if they never met us. I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne. It's hard to tell if niggas jealous if they never met us.
I mean, even this plugin is another great way of doing it. It says add high mid presence, you know? So like how I said, you see how it specifically says, I'm just not making this shit up. It says add high mid presence. It just doesn't say add presence. It says specifically, this is where I'm going to add the presence at in the high mid. So there's different ways of getting vocals to be thick and, you know, maybe sparkly or, you know, aggressive or soft. It's different ways of making the vocal talk to you. And that's the thing about it. When you're an engineer, you are effectively a translator. The music is talking, right? But then you want to translate the emotions of the music to the audience, because the audience don't know about all this shit. They don't know about no EQ, no compression, no saturation. 99% of people don't know what the hell this is. They just want a song that feels good. So that's your job as an engineer, to make it feel good. You got to translate the emotions of, you know, the music to the people. But guess what? If you're somebody who has a hard head and I gotta follow the rules, you're not even listening to the music. So if I'm not listening to somebody, how the fuck can I translate what they're saying to the person who want to know what they're saying? You feel me? So you have to listen to the music to understand, what is it asking you to do? What is the vocal telling you to do? Is the vocal like, you know, telling you it struggles and, you know, you use your imagination to understand that? Or is it kind of down tempo, kind of a little bit more slow? But with A Boogie, he got a nice little bit of energy to him, you know? So another de-esser after that, I think that's doing like a dB or two. And then we have the H delay right here. I did a distorted delay, and I used the Shep's Omni channel to blow that bitch up. Used it like TNT, boom, like a creeper in Minecraft. You feel me? I put that heavy. I ain't even play that bit in like so many years. I don't know what it reminded me of it. But yeah, boom, using that Shep's Omni channel to blow the goddamn delay up pretty much. Heavy distortion. I pushed it really hard. It gives like a distorted type of delay sound.
I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne. It's hard to tell if niggas jealous if they never met us. I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne. It's hard to tell if niggas jealous if they never met us. I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne. It's hard to tell if niggas jealous if they never met us. I think about it every single time that.
So at that point, I'm trying to throw a little bit of dirt on the shoulders of the vocal. I wanted it to have a little bit of harshness. So I'm not going to put in that harshness through the lead vocal because I want my lead vocal to be smooth. But little A Boogie is rapping about a harsh life. He said he thinking about butter. He said he thinking about what he went through. Oh, how the fuck them niggas gonna hate on us if they never even met us? He talking, what you think them niggas that's hating on him is nice? He talking about his best friends? No, he's talking about the shit that he going through. He's talking about problems that he got going on. So of course I am going to insert, that harshness into the vocal, but through the delay. So you still feel this hard, rugged type of feeling. Like he is from the mud. He is from High Bridge. Like he representing that struggle. You feel me? So obviously the struggle is not squeaky clean and precise. So obviously I put in a little bit of distorted delay. You feel me? Distorted delay, rolled off some top, rolled off some bottom, just to throw a little dirt on that vocal, but in a musical way. After that, I used the Abbey Roads plate. I like the Abbey Roads plate because it's kind of soulful for A Boogie. So I used this one right here, which is plate D. Put a little pre-delay on it so the reverb is not jumping at the same time that the lead vocal is. And just rolling off a little bit top and bottom, making it mid-range type of focused reverb.
I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne. It's hard to tell if niggas jealous if they never met us. I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne. It's hard to tell if niggas jealous if they never met us. I think about it every.
So between the delay and the reverb, everything is just really mid-range packed. You feel me? So that's how I'm really enhancing the low mid, like that mid-range, that girth, that little tight, dry type of sound I'm going for. Then I use the doubler stomp. They know I love doubler stomp, man. It's just the way that has this little flanger type of chorusy sound in it. It kind of helps the auto-tune blend a little bit better too. And then, I kind of did like this wide band EQ because I did want a lot of that low end and that low mid. That's kind of really providing the backbone, really providing the vertebrae, the support, the labrum for the vocal.
I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne. It's hard to tell if niggas jealous if they never met us. I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne. It's hard to tell if niggas jealous if they never met us. I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne.
After that, I used something different for my parallel compressor. I used the RVOX and I cranked it down. I just love the type of sound the RVOX was giving me. I didn't use the CLA 76. I felt like, hit the sliding transitions and his voice was already good. The nuances was already good. So I just used something like RVOX to give me more of that mid-range, that I wanted for A Boogie.
I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne. It's hard to tell if niggas jealous if they never met us. I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne. It's hard to tell if niggas jealous if they never met us. I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne. It's hard to tell if niggas jealous if they never met us.
All right, so then let's look at the ad-libs really quickly. The ad-libs were just a situation with A Boogie where I just wanted to bring in kind of like an extra musical note, like just a sound that gives a little bit more of a note to the music. So I used the Shep's Omni channel. These are more ad-libs that are felt than heard. Pushed up the saturation just a little bit. Used a CLA, not a CLA, but 1176. And used the fast release, fast attack to make it pump. And I did a little bit of parallel compression on them ad-libs, all right?
I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne. It's hard to tell if niggas jealous if they never met us. I think about it every single time that I perform, and I put on different Saint Laurent for my cologne. It's hard to tell.
So a situation like that, just the extra like feeling of like what he's going through, it makes you feel like, you know, he's reflecting on everything like that, kind of like a man in the mirror type of song this is, you know. So after that, I used the chorus stomp as well. Then I used the RVOCs for the gate, and that's it. And use the you know, just the basic stock reverb, the reverb, and then the H delay. Nothing crazy, you feel me? Just something that gives a little bit more support to a boogie. You feel me? Sometimes ad-libs, they don't gotta be they don't gotta be, you know, all over the place. You feel me? Especially an emotional song, you want to have the listener focus on the lead vocal. So maybe the ad-libs aren't that important. Maybe you want to tuck them back just so they can be more of an atmosphere type of feeling type of situation, you know? So I just want to say thank you very much for, you know, being a great part of my YouTube family. If you want to get the preset, check in the comments down below, the pinned link. You can get it today. Okay, so don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you guys enjoyed this video here today, and suggest more artists down below so we can keep going with these videos where we break down these gems of your favorite artists. All right, thanks a lot for being a great part of my YouTube family. Appreciate y'all now. Peace.